Hi learners, welcome to part number 2, Linux usage for learning network simulation 3 and Internet of Things. So if you want to know about what are the basic commands on part number 1, so you can refer this YouTube videos. So I have just recorded yesterday. So now today we will be seeing some more commands for a basic understanding of how we can use Linux. Okay. So open a terminal. This is a terminal. So now some networking commands, let's say I want to use the ping command. As you all know that the ping command is a command that tries to ping a particular network whether it is live or not. So one good example is, let me ping google.com. So now it is pinging google.com. So this is how the way the ping command works. So even you can check out the IP address of Google also. So even you can check this IP address. So ping. So here you can see time to live is 57 hops. The time fetching is at various time it is 4.15 millisecond and sometime it is 5.25. There is control message protocol. So that means that it's incrementing one by one. There is a sequence number. So whenever I don't need, I just press Control C. So first command is ping. So ping. Let me use the prompt here. So this is the prompt here. Ping. And similarly I can have ping 6 also. So ping 6 means I can ping the IP version 6 address. So there's a command ping 6. So ping 6 is also there, but by default all computers may not be having ping 6. So you need to use it. So now you can see the network is unreachable. Okay, so it might not have configured, or else I can use -T. So that's a ping 6 command. Okay. So next thing is ifconfig. So as you all know that in Windows we can call something else ipconfig, that is Internet Protocol Configuration. Here we call ifconfig, that is called as interface configuration. So ifconfig means interface configuration, network interface configuration. So this is a command that the next command you can think of, ifconfig. So again, for installing this ifconfig we need to have this commands installation. By default the installation is not there, so we have to install it. Installed it. So now when I try ifconfig, so it will be showing you so many network configurations. So as you all learned in computer networks, so this is the Wi-Fi address. This is the address of multicast and broadcast, and this is the loopback address. So only in this, via this internet only I am just using. So my IP address time being now is 192.168.31.16. Even I have a internet's IP version 6 also. So you can see that IP version 6. Please understand from this, because in our subject we need this IP version 6. So what happens here is, so this IP version 6 address. So totally IP version 6 is of 128 bits. Whereas IP version 4 is 32 bits. So okay, I'll just show you that IP version 4 of my website address. So this IP version 4. So what happens is 192 is 8 bits. So 8 bits plus 8 bits plus 8 bits plus 8. So equal to totally 32 bits. But IP version 6 here is, this is IPv6. This will be 16 plus like that up to 816 will get. So 16 into 8 equal to 128 bits. So this is how I will be getting it. But here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Totally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 are there. So 5 means 5 sections are only 80 bits are there. So what happens to remaining 48 bits? So we have to use. So we can see there are two double colons here. So the double colon will be represented like this. So this is what the indication of 128 bits. Now you can see every word has 4 into 4, 16. 16 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 plus 16 will be 128 bits. So this is what the IP version 6. So we will be needing this even for our networking as well as for Internet of Things. because mostly IoT deals with IPv6 address. So the next this is the second command in this. So command number 1, I'll just put it number 1, and here is number 2. So now the third command is we have a command called as who am I. So you know there is a movie called as Jackie Chan have acted in this movie. So who am I? The command is who am I without any gaps. So it will be showing you in which login you are currently logged into. So you can see that you are logged into a login called as Pradeep Kumar. So my username is Pradeep Kumar. So who am I? Simply type who, it will tell you the same thing. Suppose if more than one person is connected on your machine, it will tell you how many of them are connected to that machine. So as of now I am the only one connected on my machine, so it shows only one. But who am I will be showing you who are you actually. So that is what the next command. The command number 4 is df. So df is disk. It will tell you about the disk thing. So how many disk you are using, what is the size and other things. So df minus h hyphen h. When you see that, now in my current machine I am using 88 GB for Linux. 12 GB is already used. Remaining 72 GB is available. So totally 15% is used. So here you can able to see all the devices that are connected to the Linux machine, how much space it have occupied. So this way you can able to check how much space is remaining. So that is what the df. In case if you want to know about the df command, so since I was telling you simply df command, so you understand, but in case if you want to know about yourself, Linux has a manual. man is a command manual. Simply type first man, then space, the name of the command that you would like to know. So now you see that df is the report file system disk space usage. So that is a command about it. So not only that, it will tell you all the arguments also. So you can see the minus a means what, minus a, b means, minus h means human readable. So that's what I used in now, df minus h. That means that everything will be in mega, giga, like that it will be showing you. So that's how the way this command is. So if you want to exit from this, simply press a word q. So as it is mentioned here, q. Simply put q, you will come back to the same place. So there's a fifth command is manual. The command is man command name. So this is the thing. So this is the fifth manual command. So number 6th we'll be using sudo. The command is sudo. So sudo means super users. Super users are super doers. So that's what we call sudo. Okay. So in this case, whenever I type any administrative privileges, I can use the command sudo here. So sudo directly can access administrative privileges. So again, when you want to check for the first time, if you want to get into sudo su, that being a super user, then I can directly see that my username is root. So now you can check who am I. Now it will be telling you root. Okay, so earlier it was telling Pradeep Kumar, now it is root because I just logged into sudo su. So but it didn't ask password because the password will be maintained for some 10 minutes or so. So before 10 minutes we have given password for any other downloads or anything, so the password will be taken back. So now when I type sudo, then exit means exit from the particular user. Again when you exit, it will exit from the terminal directly. Okay. So next command is exit. Okay, so that's the power of sudo. So next thing is but it is ps. Command is ps. So ps is the command for how many processes are running now. So ps is a process. What is the process id? 24687311158. So that is a process id. So how many processes are running in the current machine. So if you want to know about all process, you can use ps space hyphen capital A. It will show you all the process. Okay. So this is a list of process. So pf hyphen capital A. So in case let's say I want to close one of the, I want to kill one of the process. Let's say maybe I'll open Google Chrome. Okay, so let me want to kill this Google Chrome. Okay, now I run this command. Okay, Chrome browser is there. So there is a process called as, there are so many processes are running. So let me use 31536. I want to kill it. So kill 31536. Okay, Now when you check it, so the process not exist, 31513 will put. Okay, the process is killed. Again the process is not there. So when you see the 31513 is not there, then 31479. So like this I can able to kill it. So once after it is killed, it won't come back. So now you can see that. So now there are only three things are there. Now 31629 kill 31629. So this is the process to kill. So now again it will not be there. So that is the command here for killing it. So there are, so now you can see because since I killed it, so it is giving some error like this. Okay, so now next command here is kill a process with the process ID. So the command is kill PID. PID means process ID. Okay. So this how the commands are being used here. The 9th command. The 10th command is a very long command will be tar. So the tar means we called as tape archive system. That's what we called as tar. Okay, so Linux uses various compression techniques. So one thing is .tar, as you know already, .zip, then .rar you will be knowing. Now .7z you will know. Then .lezma, there is an algorithm. Then .tar.bz2, .tar.gz. So we have so many options available for compression. Okay. So many files are there. So tar for tape archive and zip for zipping, rar rotate archive, 7 is lezma. So there are so many archiving mechanisms available in Linux. But how to use this archive? So how to unzip it? So best method is go to the GUI, right click, extract. So that is one method. But if you are given a terminal, how can you do the operations here? So let's say for example, in this folder I will take pictures. So CD pictures, I will just check it. What are the contents of this folder? So there are 4 image files. Okay. So let's say I want to compress this complete folder. So what I do is tar is a command name. I'll come out of it. Tar is a command name. C for compression, V for verbose, F for force or file. So C for compress, V for verbose, and F for file. The name of the file I want to use is mypictures, mypic.tar. I want to store it to a file called as mypic.tar. Then the name of the folder, pictures. Okay. Now V verbose means whenever it is compressing, it will be showing you what is the file being compressed. So now you can see that pictures 1.png, 1.png, 2.png, and all these things are compressed. And you can see ls, a file got created called as mypic.tar. So mypic.tar. So this is the way that we can do the compression. So there is another way around that from the same command here, mypic.tar.gz. Multiple levels of compression, 2 levels of compression. So in that case, I want to use gzip. So gzip is nothing but the command is gzip. Sorry, gzip is a command. Here it is bzip2. So this is a command. Okay. So gzip I want to do. So in that case, same tar command, but for gzip I can use z for gzip, czb. So you can write any command here, f v z c. You can alter anywhere. So you need not be cb or something, cbz or something. You can use this way. Now in this case, it compresses. Now you can see that we have 2 files. One is already tar, we have done it. Now tar.gz is done it. Okay. Now ls-l mypic.star. Just see whether both the files, as you can see, the gz have lesser compression, whereas the tar have good compression. So maybe I'll use lh. So you can see that 768 kilobytes, and here it is 800 kilobytes. So there is multiple levels of compression is there in this gz. Okay, still more if I use bz2, I want to use bz2. In that case, instead of z, I can use j. For gz2, I can use bz2, I can use j. Okay, so now again, when I put ls, so there are 3 files, tar, gz, and bz2. Now we can compare this file, ls, yeah. Now you can see that bz2 is 774K, GZ is 768K and tar is 800K. So this is how the way. So the best compression here is in the gzip. So BZ2 also sometimes will do the better compression. So that is how the way I can able to use it. Similarly, if I want to use unzip, we can simply use that file.zip. I can simply use the unzip file. I can use the command unzip. So unzip is a command that can be used. See, this way I can use. And similarly, we can have a command called as zip also can be used. So this way we can use the existing commands. Okay. So that is the simple mechanism and how we can unzip it. So that is a challenge here. In this command, how we unzip it? So untar it. We got untar. Okay. So tar xvf. So let's say I will copy this file. So copy mypic.tar, mypic.tar.gz2 and mypic.tar.bz2. I'll copy all these files in a folder called as documents. I'll just send it everything to the document folder. Okay. Now I'll come to CD documents. I have only these files. Now I will be unzipping or untarring all these files. Okay. The command is very simple. Tar xvf. So now C for compression, X for extraction. V and F as usual it is same. Tar x mypics.tar. So now files are compressed. Now we can check inside. So we got the pictures folder. Okay. So to delete the picture folder, rm-rf pictures. Delete. As we seen in the first part, to remove entire directory we can use rm space -rf. Be careful in this particular command. You cannot revert back. The file will be deleted. Once deleted, it's deleted. You cannot revert back. So next command is we will use bz2. Tar for xvf or as usual it is x, but only thing is it is for j. For bz2 it is j. So now mypic.tar.bz2. See, automatically when I use j, the tab command, the tab, when I press the tab, it automatically takes bz2. Now see that the pictures folder. Okay. Then again rm-rf pictures. Okay. So then what you do is tar xvf. Now we will have zxvf space mypic.tar.gz. Now this will be. Now you can see this. So the command is very simple. What command is? To compress, the command is tar xvf mypics.tar space pictures. That is the command. Okay. So this is for compress is cvf. To decompress or extract, the command is, maybe copy this, tar xvf. That's it. Similarly for gz, for gzip it is tar czvf mypics.tar.gz. Similarly for decompression or extraction we will have tar zxvf mypics.tar.gz. This is not needed. Similarly the other way around. Okay. So this is the way for bzip2 also the same thing. So this is the way I can able to do my tar command. So tar command is something a very big command. Okay. So now we have clear the screen. So we have usually I am simply using clear the command. So clear the command will be you just bring down. Okay, you cannot see clear commands. What commands I will be using earlier. So simply when I do something, so I am getting this. So simply type clear will make you to go to the top. So the screen will be cleared. Okay. But even when you bring down the cursor, you can able to see. Or sometimes you can use Control L also you can use. So Control L may not be working in all terminals, but still there will be one option to clear the screen. Okay. So we have seen it, and we can see the system level command as free. Free means how much remaining memory is available in your machine. So free-h. When you type free-h, it will tell you what is the total RAM in my machine. It is 3.7 GB and available is now 2 GB. Used is 1.2 GB. So this way you will be telling. And similarly swap memory totally I have 10 GB. Used is just 36 MB and free is 10 GB. So the swap is 10 GB. So I am using my MacBook here. So inside the MacBook Air, I installed Ubuntu 18.04 operating system. So this command will be doing the free command. So that means the command number is 9, 10 or 11th command. 11th command is free -h. Tells about the memory. Okay, now 12th command is echo. So echo is one of a powerful command. So whatever you send it to the screen, echo to the screen, it will echo. So one good example is echo hello. So when you type echo hello, it will say you hello. Echo welcome, it will say you echo welcome. Okay. Now not only that, it will have some variables also. Echo shell. What kind of shell prompt your machine is using? Echo $shell. So then it will show you that bash, bin bash. So bash means it is born again shell. Actually that means that echo any text and echo $shell. So $shell means it will show you the value as bin bash. So bash means BOURN, born again shell. Born is the name of the scientist who developed this shell. So that's why we call it born again shell. That is bash, BASH. Not only that, what is your home folder? Echo $home. You can use echo $home. In that case, it will show you which folder you belong to or which folder it belongs to. Then what is the name of the user you logged into? Echo $user. See, you can use Pradeep Kumar. So sudo su echo $user. In that case, it will show you root. Okay, so root is there and here it is Pradeep Kumar is there. So we have some commands like echo $user, echo $shell, then echo $home. There are so many things we can think of. Then we can use something like echo $java_home. We can able to find out what is the Java home pointed by my Java home variable. So this also can be possible here. Not only that, echo $path. So what is my path contains? Okay, so my path is containing so many things. So it will be showing you completely here. So this way I can use so many commands in echo $. So dollar means it's a variable name. So the shell will process the dollar variable as a variable name. So that's how these commands we can simply use and compare to different files. So we can use a command called as diff, diff. So we can compare two different files. So let me create two files here. So let me create, what I do is so one is, so I can use another command here, gedit. Gedit means editor window. So you can see this is editor window. Some places you may not get the GUI. In this case, I can use a nano editor. So simply the name of the editor is nano file1.c. So file1.text. Let me use file1. Okay, hello. This is Linux usage part number 2. So I can use this command like this, part number 2. Okay. Now Control X, exit, save. Yes. Now again I use another file 2. This is Linux usage part number 2. I made some error here. This is the second file. Okay, so Control X, yes, now I saved it. Now what I do is I compare both the files. Diff file1.text and file2.text. When I compare both the file, it will show you that. So in file number 1, this is Linux usage part 2, and in file number 2, these are the two lines. So it will tell you what are the differences in the particular file. If two sentences are common, it won't tell you. The two sentences are common, it won't tell you. Only the differences it will show you. So this is a file comparison between two different files. So 13th command is diff. So the command will be diff file1 file2. So it will be showing the comparison. So whenever you are just copy pasting a file, you can able to verify the comparison. But all these comparison will be working only on the text files. So not on the Word file or PDF or anything. It won't work. Okay. Now let's say I want to display a file immediately on the terminal. So let's say I want to know what is the content of file. So either what I do is gedit file1.text, like that I need to go like this. So instead of that, I want to open directly. You can use concatenate command, cat file1.txt. I can use this command. So directly it will show you file 2.txt. It will show you the command immediately. Okay, so that is what this cat command will do. So cat is concatenate. So command number 13 is cat command. So it is nothing but concatenate. Okay, so dollar, so cat file name. It will just display all the data in the file. Okay, so now next thing I thought of telling you is the secure shell. 15th command is SSH or small SSH. We call it as secure shell. That's what SSH. So this means remotely I can connect to any other machine, any other Linux machine across the world. I can directly connect from right from sitting here. Okay. So Asim, so we are running so many servers in our campus. So one server is, let's say I want to get the IP address of it. So now this is the IP address. So let me connect to this IP address. Okay. So now what I do is I want to connect it SSH. The username is administrator over there at this IP. So once it is connected, after it goes there, it will verify and maybe asking the password. Taking a long time. Okay, so secure shell will be SSH username @ domain name. So the example could be SSH space administrator @ 172.16.56.44, something like this. It will ask for the password. If it is for the first time, it asks you to store a key in your particular machine. You have to give yes or no. After that, the corresponding machine will be connected. So this is a very simple a secure shell that you can connect to any remote machine across the globe. So we usually the remote working usually people will do through this shell terminal, through the terminal mode. So having said all these commands, so we have done totally 2 different Linux usages, part 1 and part 2. So covering around almost around 30 commands. So please remember these commands. So these commands will be very helpful for you if you are progressing to the next stage in understanding and networking and Internet of Things. So thanks for listening this video. Thank you very much.